So it's been a little over a month since we've heard anything from the developers of the first Descendants, and a lot of you guys had a lot of really good things to say, but a lot of you guys did really voice some concerns about the game and what you think the longevity or end game would be and how it needs some work. And well, they addressed a lot of that in this dev vlog, which we're going to be going over today. The developers start off by saying it's already been over a month since we ran the Crossplay open beta test for the first Descendants. The reason we haven't been able to share more news with you sooner is because we received so much feedback from our Descendants who participated in this test. With your incredible support and interest, we had a lot to consider in shaping the game for a better gaming experience. Our dev team has been having intense internal discussions every day since the test ended, and as a result we were able to set major directions in a broad framework on how we're going to develop the first Descendants. And today I would like to share with you what we've learned from the Crossplay open beta test. And I honestly loved how they started this dev vlog, how they're taking the time to really go through the feedback and make changes in the game, so when they do fully release this game, it's going to be something very special. They continue on with say, firstly, the week-long Crossplay open beta that started on 19 September was cross-platform across all global regions, covering PC, PlayStation, Xbox. Almost 2 million Descendants took part in the test, and while they participated from various regions around the globe, North America showed the most interest and playtime. We were also hugely surprised by the high level of engagements from console users, with a 5-5 split in player count between consoles and PC. And to be honest, that didn't really surprise me because console has a huge player base compared to PC. It's just a little bit more affordable. But the great thing here is if the console community actually gets on board with this game, that could be massive. Now they continue on to say, as I mentioned earlier, many Descendants participated in the test and they gave us a lot of feedback. There were many words of support, such as how they enjoyed the game and how it's really improved since the last Steam beta test, which is incredibly encouraging to the dev team, and they are very grateful for that. But there was just as much feedback about improvements that are needed to move the first Descendant forward. So today I would like to share my thoughts on that direction we will be taking next. So they start off with missions and say, we received the most feedback about repetition of missions and underutilization of the fields. The current missions and fields were designed with certain intentions by our dev team, but this Crossplay open beta test has made us recognize an urgent need to improve the gameplay. So we're going to make significant improvements to both mission and fields. We'll not only improve the quality of the missions, but also add necessary features for co-op play and matchmaking support for dungeon missions. And most importantly, we'll introduce new content to the fields to make the gameplay more enjoyable. We've shared more details about this in the future dev notes when it's ready to be revealed. So that honestly was a huge thing I said they needed to improve on with a lot of other people were the fields. If you know, the fields are the areas in between each mission. They're really empty. They're beautiful to just run around, but there was nothing really to do there. So what they're going to do, hopefully, is add more activities in those areas so that way it feels like it's just not an open, empty world. They continue on to say many Descendants had positive things to say about the new prologue and tutorial, which made a difficult decision to revamp the prologue after the last Steam beta test all the more rewarding and worthwhile. However, there are also a lot of people who expressed disappointment with the storytelling in conjunction with the repetition of missions that I mentioned earlier. The dev team is working on several ideas and improvements in this area. They go a little bit more deeper into the UI and UX. There are numerous comments about the UI and UX as well. We made improvements to them since the last Steam beta test, but we still received a lot of feedback. Accordingly, we're going to make improvements to the controls and visibility, including improvements to the module UI that many have commented about, and we're also planning to make much requested loadout features available at launch. We are also working on improving the gamepad controls for console and gamepad users. So I'm loving a lot of these changes that I'm hearing because a lot of these were some of the concerns that I voiced and many others voiced. So it's really cool to see how they're tackling this and how they really want to release a game that's going to be amazing from start to finish. Let's continue on. They talk about the shooter play and action. We've also received diverse feedback on the shooter play and action aspect of the game, and we're really encouraged that many have expressed a high level of satisfaction with various combat sound effects. We're planning to continue balancing the combat and sound effects and adding more detail to increase the quality. In terms of gameplay, there were a lot of complaints and frustration of players due to the difficulty in obtaining ammunition, and I would like to say we're also preparing various improvements for this issue. And I heard this a ton about people saying they had issues with ammo. And well, it's cool to see that they're really listening to us. Regarding action, there was a great interest in the completely revamped grappling hook, which I loved, and then in addition for parkour. While there were a lot of positive feedbacks, there were also many suggestions for more improvement. Despite plentiful feedback on enhancing the action aspect, our dev team are honestly cautious about it because of the balance with the shooter play. Nevertheless, we're testing several radical features to answer our Descendants requests seriously. We'll decide on this after taking several internal tryouts, so we'll get to you more about this later on. They then go into optimization and security. They say we're also aware of issues with optimization, graphics quality, and settings. We're already working on specific improvements, so please look forward to them. Finally, we've made it one of our highest priorities to establish measures in response to the users who use cheating methods during the Crossplay open beta test. We've apologized once again to our Descendants who had any inconvenience for users that did not play in a fair way. There are many more development matters that I'd like to talk about, but for today, I'll conclude with my thoughts on the future development directions of the game. I believe that for looter shooters as a game, growth elements, motivation to play, and ease of play over long play time are more important than anything else. Therefore, the dev team has been focusing on strengthening the growth elements to enhance the inherent fun of looter shooters, buffing content that allows players to use the variety of characters, and improving the UI and UX to ensure that players aren't frustrated by repetitive gameplay. Even after the release, we'll continue to address any shortcomings and keep updating content for our Descendants to enjoy. Now that is amazing. The fact that they say that they're going to keep updating this game long term and adding content even after release, that really is something good to hear about games these days, because a lot of games they release, they don't update them after release, and that's it. You play it, you enjoy it, you move on. But if it can get some really good post-launch support, that could be big for the first Descendants. They finish off by saying this cross-play open beta test was invaluable time for our dev team, giving us a good look at what our Descendants enjoyed, what frustrated them, and the current state of the first Descendant. So we're using the results of this test as a basis to discuss our future plans. The Descendants' expectations and support for the test has been so amazing that we're eager to perfect the game even further. As such, we're still discussing heatedly about our release schedule and future plans to implement your feedback for better quality. We are looking into the launch period to be in 2024, and we'll provide more details about the release schedule in the near future. It's also heartbreaking for us that we could not deliver the exact date that you have been expecting. The Crossplay open beta test was a precious opportunity for our dev team to meet so many Descendants, and will continue to share improvement changes and new features through the community as before. Even though the game isn't available to play right now, so many of you are active, supported, engaged in our community and throughout various channels. In response, we'll continue to make the first Descendants better together. We'll remain transparent in our communication, listening to your feedback until and after release 2. It's honestly such a good feeling to hear developers actually care about the player input, people who played the beta test. If you guys want to see my full review, I have it on this channel, and I'll tell you, I had an amazing time. Was this game perfect? No, but it has a lot of really good features, and if they improve on them, they can have themselves something very special with this. And I think that's the best thing about this. They know they have something special. They know they have a community that actually enjoyed the game, and if they can improve on the things that need to be improved on, they can really bring something good. Now, a lot of us really wanted this game to come out in late 2023, so this winter, but it looks like it's going to be closer to somewhere in maybe early mid 2024, but we still have to wait and see what they release and when they release it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Nothing but skills out.